Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gotham City. I'm your host, Levi Rosman, and this is a podcast where I talk to people who live in the chess world, on the 64 squares, but also beyond them. In this episode, I'm speaking with Dutch Grandmaster Jorden van Foreest. He is the Tata Steel 2021 champion, quickly rising star, recently breaking into the 2700 club, and he was a member of Team Magnus for the World Championship match that just concluded against Jan Nepomniachtchi. In this episode, we talk about a lot of different subjects, including when Jorden and I ran into each other in a tournament in 2019. I hope you enjoy our conversation. It's good to have you on. I was really... First of all, I'm gonna start with it's a shame because we actually had some pretty good banter, but we'll come back to those subjects. You congratulated me on getting married, so thank you again. And now we're gonna move on to probably the next big news, which is holy shit, man! You were on Team Magnus. Nobody saw that. How does that get kept a secret? Like how? Just take me through that whole process because that was really cool. I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was a big surprise as well. I mean, basically, I was working for the candidates. I was working for Anish, right? Who both in the first and the second half, I was helping him, and he was doing really, really well in the second half, right? He made a good comeback, won 2 games, and well, eventually didn't make it. And then I thought, okay, now my seconding job is over. Back to playing myself, right? And not soon after, I got an email asking if I want to help Magnus for the match, which
From
was
who? Who sent it?
it wasn't from Magnus himself. It you sure know his longtime helper Peter Heine Nielsen. So he told me that they're interested in my help and that I might be a good addition to the team. And of course, I didn't think twice about such an opportunity because I mean, I think it's every chess player's dream to work together with Magnus. So definitely immediately accepted that, and basically not immediately after the candidates, but for the bigger part of the last half year, I've been trying to help him for getting ready for Naples, let's say. So the team was formed with Daniel as well, and Jan and Laurent, and so we had a couple of training camps, and of course with COVID and all, it was kind of hard to manage everything. So generally, chess player we like to come together on site, you know, to exchange ideas. Although chess can be done online as well. We had 2 camps in Spain and 1 in Lithuania, but at the same time we try to do a lot of work in between those camps as well. And you know, Magnus was at the camps. Actually, he wasn't in the camp in Lithuania because somehow at some point he wanted to come, but we all got ill, so it was not really a convenient time to
Oh
come
wow.
for him. I think it was just after World Cup he got knocked out by well, not knocked out, but his chances of winning the tournament got crushed by Duda, and then he won Fedoseev, and like our camp basically started right after, but he couldn't quite make it. So we basically just had some online contact there and exchanged ideas. And then of course there was the match itself in Thailand, um, which like in hindsight it all went really smooth. So the first 6 rounds for us, it was tough work, hard work, very stressful, but of course once he won that 6th round, the mood got much better. And
Wait. You guys were in Thailand? Is that what you just said?
yes, we were we were in Thailand, yeah. So
Oh, when you said I got back home, I mean, I was assuming from Dubai, but were you not in Dubai because you didn't want to like leak that you're part like?
well, we could have probably kept ourselves secret, although it's not easy to you know keep everything secret these days. Because for example, we were in Thailand, and at some point I was going out for dinner with Daniel for before one of the rest days, and somehow we got recognized by a random German chess amateur. It's like, so what are you guys up to here? So it's not, you get recognized, I guess, a bit, and it's hard to keep it from leaking. So my close relatives and stuff will know. But in general, I think especially Daniel being part of the team was a big surprise for everyone. But anyway, coming back to Thailand, we were there because the point is that the match is in Dubai, and we want to basically do our work, like the opening work, to get Magnus in top-notch preparation um, while he's sleeping. So when he wakes up, the point is that he got all the material ready to access, and he doesn't have to wait for us to like we can just conveniently work during the day in Thailand, and when he's sleeping and once he wakes up, we are basically going for dinner and he can review the material. So that's basically the point, that there's a few hours of time difference. um Ideally we would have liked to move a little bit further east, I guess, but with COVID it was kind of hard, so we looked into it, but it wasn't quite possible.
Oh yeah, because I was just looking up the time difference because I didn't think it was that big. It's only 3 hours. So
Yeah, it's only 3 hours, but Magnus likes to get up late, I guess. So that gives us a bit more time to do the work in, to get the work in. And I don't, I mean, I don't think he likes to review his opening files for hours on end before the game. So he might wake up late and then like around like a couple hours before the game, he'll look through the opening ideas and make up his mind on what to play. But actually, we had a funny idea to. There was the serious consideration to move us to the Marshall Islands, just as a funny pun, because he was also playing the Marshall. So we considered that possibility, but I mean, eventually it wasn't quite possible. But yeah, we sure thought of that. So
um
Thailand, that finally was.
so I've got I mean I've got a lot of questions from my own curiosity, and I'm sure for many other people. Obviously we won't get into specifics, but um there was the clip that came out right after the match where like a camera was panning on all of
Mhm.
you. I mean, I'm sure you first of all were part of it and know what was gonna be in it, but also you've seen it, and he just like in 2 sentences describes all of your roles on the team. Like you couldn't get the best Frenchman, so you got Fraisse or something, or the all we need to double or triple check Jordan's ideas and whatnot. Um, but why were you picked? Like what? Like why you? What is it about? Can you describe? Like I think I kind of understand, but what is your strong suit that made you such an important kind of fit?
um, I'm not completely sure myself. It's not
Okay.
like he directly told me, except for in the clip when he says I'm punching back in for the blitz games, which well, probably there's some truth to that. He likes to get some training games in to practice the openings and against the player which offers some resistance, but he's like sure to beat 95% of the time. So I was a good choice for that, I guess. Like I guess maybe when he plays with Daniel, the games are probably more competitive. Um, but also, I guess he does rate my opening expertise highly. Of course, I worked with Anish for quite a number of years, or worked. We might get back. I don't know about the future, but definitely I had a lot of training with Anish, and he helped me get my openings to a whole new level, I guess. Basically, mainly due to him, I got like a passion on working to opening on openings, let's say, and I guess my results in Vaikanze combined with the opening ideas got him interested in working with me, and moreover, I knew him. I wouldn't say we're friends, but I knew him a little bit. We had some dinners together before. I spoke to him a couple of times. Once we went for a very long hike in the mountain. Well, not really the mountains, but the nature of the Isle of Man. So that was fun. So I guess it's all of this a little bit combined, but there's no clear outstanding reason. Of course, he's also a little bit limited in who he wants to pick. I mean, if he wants to pick very strong players, he cannot pick any of the top 10 guys because they are his rivals, and he
Right.
doesn't want a a strong player who we might know a bit. So, and maybe younger player. So all of that combined. Maybe
Yeah,
that's where I came into the picture, but I certainly didn't expect it myself as well. So it was a huge surprise.
yeah, it's not something you can like apply for, right? Like you can't reach out to the team and be like, "Hi, I'd like to work with you. Here's my chess resume. Here's what I
Maybe
think."
you can. I don't know. I haven't considered it. I
Yeah,
mean, if
I
you're ever interested, and
no, not me, but well, I also had no idea because none of this stuff was like so popular and open to the public until the last few years, so easily accessible. But like for example, I think it was a surprise to me that on the team he had Nils. He had Nils for the last. I had no idea. Like I maybe I knew that and I just forgot. But that was the major kind of difference is that the team was the same except it was you
yeah,
and
yeah,
not
yeah.
Niels.
Niels
So
was not there this time. But in general, Magnus has worked with a lot of different people over the years. Maybe some of them are less known, but I do think he likes working with different people, maybe to get different insights. And I think he has had trainings with Firusha. I think Shankland was even in the team for a little bit, which is known. I think he had a training with Ding Liren once, so he definitely has mixed it up when it comes to training or seconds and um, well, I mean this time um, I was there and not Niels, but who knows what's gonna be there if there is a next time, who's gonna be in the team that time. It's hard to say.
so one question that like obviously I'm not looking for anything specific, but I was always very curious when you get invited to something like this, particularly with the world champion. It seems like it's kind of like the pinnacle. Do you like get a paper contract sent to you, like explaining, like literally like a job basically? I mean, you can't. I mean, is there a chess non-compete? You can't work with other guys, or you just can't disclose anything. And are there things like do you get like a monthly salary and then it's just like a win bonus? like, um,
Yeah, well, in a sort, yeah, there's a contract for sure. And um, I cannot disclose too much about the contract, but a number of the things which you're saying there definitely are applicable to the contract. So, of course, when I'm working with Magnus, I'm not going to be sharing big ideas with Anish at the same time. It just not possible because they play each other all the time themselves. So that was also hard when I was working with Anish for the candidates and then making the transition into working with or for Magnus. How do you do it with sharing information so that I don't step one of the, like, I don't step Anish in the back, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
giving Magnus all the information I know from Anish, and then he is left with basically nothing to play, let's say, when he plays against Magnus himself. So that's tough, but we figured it out finally. And well, generally, of course, yeah, when I'm working with Magnus, I'm only sharing opening ideas with either him and the team, but no one else.
Yeah, yeah. That's all I was wondering.
Yeah.
And it does seem like well, the funny thing is, if you were invited to trade, and even if it wasn't like it wasn't a financial decision at all. I mean, it still seems like a pretty cool opportunity. As long as your flight tickets are covered, you don't have to buy your own trips. It's like, I don't know. It just seems like a good vacation to hang out with
Yeah,
some people and play some study some chess, and um,
for sure. I
it's
mean, no, the financial stuff is of course a very nice bonus, but mainly I also, besides helping him, it's also at the same time helping my own chess career in a lot of ways, because I get to well, you know, um, um, look at chess with the best minds in which there's ever been when it comes to chess. So that's just hugely beneficial to my own chess. And not only him, but there's also Dubov, Fressinet, Gustafsson, which you get insights from, and sharing opening ideas or I mean, talking about life in general is interesting with these guys. So in general, it's a great opportunity. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, of
It
course,
seems.
I was very happy to be part of it, and I mean, the fact that the match went so good as well. I mean, there was no better scenario, let's say. So our time in Thailand was pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect. It's because of you. The match was so good because you were there. That's. It's. I
I,
mean,
um, I don't. I mean, I would say it's basically due to the whole team. I would. I mean, for example, Dubov. He's very creative. He has a lot of good ideas. As I'm sure you know, he is. Like the Catalan, which Magnus played, of course. Daniel as a big part as a big part in that, and I think basically as a team together, we worked very well together. And then you have Gustafsson, who's basically responsible for the martial side of things. So um, in general. In general, so of course we had a great team, but we shouldn't forget that basically there's only so much you can do for someone like Magnus. I mean, he's so good. Even without our help, he might have a very good chance of winning the title. So we only help. Our help is not. We can only help him so much, let's say, but we do our best.
one final question about this. Were you guys aware of the potential gravity of the release of the team and what the world would go? Oh my God, you know,
Mhm.
Daniil. Or is it one of these things like they're gonna be shook for 3 days and then everyone's
I
gonna
don't.
like.
It wasn't really discussed actually during the. I'm sure Daniel about himself thought about it. Before accepting to join the team, he thought about the possible ramifications and consequences. But basically, with the team, we mainly spoke about chess and um, what would happen once the team was being released was not really a topic of conversation. But I would say that I, of course, completely support Daniel and his decision to join the team. It makes sense as well since he was there last time,
Yeah,
so he thought
that's
about it, and
yeah.
um,
I
I don't think there should be. There should have been too much. It was a bit. It was a bit surprising to me that it was blown up this much. Let's say so. Um, I don't see anything wrong doing by him.
Yeah, it was mostly, let's say it was blown up mostly by people who took the reaction of the Russian side and just kind of brought it to the world. It wasn't like, I don't
Mhm.
think anybody who wasn't from Russia was like, yeah, that was a bad thing. He did a really bad thing. It was more like,
Yeah.
you know, you took
No,
the
but even
reaction and then
I
you.
think even most of the Russians themselves, they didn't mind so much. So there were clearly a couple of people who were very outspoken against it. But Daniil also said that he did some interview for a Russian website, and that most of the fellow Russians supported his decision. So there could be, of course, that mm, there's a certain sense of patriotism in
Yeah.
within the Russian society, but in general, I don't think it was there was too much. It shouldn't have been blown up this much. So, and he said it himself very clearly. Of course, for him, it's a huge opportunity as well to work with Magnus. He's done it before. So I think there's that. It's it shouldn't. It was all fine, I guess.
That's the entire line of questioning and interrogation I had about the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like most people who, you know, haven't gotten into chess in the last year or two, they know it sort of beyond that. They can tell just by looking at the opening repertoire that a player is choosing for that event who potentially is helping. Like, I found it fascinating that even Nepo himself was said after game two he had some suspicion that it was Dubov
Mhm.
when there was some fancy Catalan move order played and something like brand new on move 7 or 8. So that stuff always blows my mind. What was that beep? That was
Yeah,
terrifying.
B3, but B3 was suggested by Daniil. I'm not really sure actually. Game two, because of course it's not only him who's looking at the Catalan, we all look at it. So even though we have our expertises, like Jan in the Marshall, he in the Catalan, with current computer hardware, everyone can very quickly become an expert in any kind of opening actually, because the computers are simply this strong. The the work has become much easier in the last couple of years, I would say, just because of the improved speed. So basically we're all looking for ideas in this area, and I don't even recall exactly who found, for example, the game two idea. I think maybe it was me or Daniel who suggested it first, and then we started looking at it. But yeah, in general, of course, his he has a lot of ideas in the Catalan, which he gave us. And for example, this move order trick, which finally in where Magnus won the game, that was very clever.
Which one is that?
That was that was game 6. So the one he won in the long end game. So it wasn't really due to the opening, but
Yeah. You mean G3 Bishop G2?
yeah,
And
yeah.
okay.
Well, in general, we believe that, or Magnus believes that if he gets a game where his opponent is on less familiar grounds and he knows a little bit more, he should be able to outplay him. So we don't have to look for groundbreaking novelties. So as long as Magnus can get a playable position, he will do just fine.
That makes sense. I wish it was that easy for myself as well.
Yes.
But I was definitely, it was interesting to see. I mean, I predicted it, but it was quite interesting to see Nepo go for knight f6 e6, which it obviously makes sense because it seems to be like the most solid and stable response. But you know, he's a Grunfeld player like his entire life. So how much of the training during the camp was like, okay, we need like several Grunfeld weapons, or did you guys also kind of anticipate that it would be knight f6 e6?
It was hard to say. I mean, in general, you have to be ready for everything and anything. But the Grunfeld was a very realistic possibility, of course. Him having played it all his life. But actually, I think earlier in the year, like in the second half of the year, after he won the candidates, he started experimenting a little bit with knight f6 e6 as well. So I mean, you're never sure. You can't just play anything. So you have to be ready for him to play the Grunfeld or go for the solid knight f6 e6 setups. And I think we suspected knight f6 e6 just a little bit more. But of course, it's hard to say beforehand. So we just were ready for basically anything and everything, and that's what you do before a world championship match.
Well, on that note, we can talk more about you. So I've got a fun question to start out with. What I always do before every show is I like read things about a person just to find things that I might not know. So what I discovered about you before the show was your last name is like a noble last name.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it kind of is.
Like how noble?
I don't know how you figured that out.
Wikipedia. It was like just there. I don't know.
I would think, yeah, it's so Van Foreest. It's basically yeah, basically the last name. It dates back all the way to like the 13th century, maybe. I don't quite know, but well, these days it doesn't really say anything much, but I do have like a title before my first name, which is like you got in English, it's like Sir, Duke, Knight, and so on. So I don't my title is like the lowest possible rank, so it's like
Well,
to compare to chess terms, it's like the pawn rank, but it's basically a title you get by birth, and
wow.
it's in my passport and all. So fun fact, I think about the family, I think one of my like predecessors, so a couple of them were like mayors of small Dutch towns, but I think one of them was like how do you say, um like the doctor of the Dutch king in the 15th or 16th century. So that's pretty cool. So he was like his personal doctor. So wherever the king would go, my predecessor dudes would join him in his carriage maybe, and make sure he's okay. And
Wow.
we we have like a couple of streets around these towns where my predecessors were a mayor. They're like called after them. So
Wow.
but these days it's not
Yeah.
it's nothing basically worse anymore. But maybe back in those days, like when you're speaking 15th 16th century, it was something. I don't quite know actually.
So like when you go to a Dutch government building to renew a driver's license, they don't look at you and go, "Oh my God, your last name is like." They just
No, no,
okay,
no.
okay. They just process
maybe
your
maybe
information and
maybe if I would have the yeah, no, not really. Maybe not really. No, just maybe if I would have the last name of the like Van Oranje is like the royal name. So maybe if I would have such a last name, but Van Foreest is just I guess there are many families with a noble descent. So I don't know.
and what does your last name actually mean? Because when I look at your last name, like because obviously it's Forest, it's a
Yeah.
word in English. Just so I just look at you as typoed Forest, like it's a Forest with an extra e. But I'm sure it means something completely like you're
I
pronouncing it
think
Van Foist. How do you say it?
yeah, I pronounce it Van Foreest, but I think it's coming from another last name, which is Forestus, which I don't know what it means as well. And then they changed it later into Van Foreest. Maybe it's something with the woods. Honestly, it doesn't mean anything in Dutch as well.
Oh,
So yeah, most last names they don't mean too much, but there is this, like, for example, my first name, it's actually a family name, like Jorden. I think they're like a couple of dudes who were living in the 1500s who were also going by the name of Jordan. So my parents decided to give our six siblings. They decided to give three of us like family names. So you got Machtel, who is my sister, which is also a family name, and Peter, for example. It's actually a common Dutch name, but it's also a name which runs into the family. Or for example, my brother Lucas and another brother Tristan I have, they are just handpicked by my parents. So it's a bit of a mix, but definitely our family has a long standing tradition, and I guess it's kind of cool.
the weddings will be exciting. So
Yeah, the
I'm
problem is sometimes when we have these family gatherings, you don't even know everyone. Maybe that's just me being not uh socially enough, to I like to keep to myself. But I think the family tree, it's quite wide, so there's a lot of fun for hastes, which I just don't quite know.
Yeah, I've experienced both things. So I have like two sides of the family. One side is like quite small, and our
Mhm.
gatherings are between 5 and 10 people max. But I have like we have cousins somewhere there on the branch, and whenever we used to combine, they would bring 80% of the people to the family gathering because their families are just huge.
Mhm. Yes.
So you always get to be, oh, I remember you from 10 years ago. I was like, I don't know who you are.
I don't know. Yeah.
So that's funny.
Exactly the same thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm
funny.
not the only one with that problem. Yeah. So
Yeah, but I think you have it even more. I mean, six kids is pretty wild. I have a brother. That's it.
oh, I was thinking you're gonna say you're having six kids as well. So no. Okay.
No, oh man, maybe six dogs or six cats or both. But
Six dogs sounds pretty wild, man. I don't know how you. It sounds even tougher than six kids. I mean, I don't know.
maybe to be honest, maybe. But it's no. For now, it's zero. Thankfully. But
Mhm,
do you have like strong like for example I have zero ties to the country where I live. Like I'm still,
mhm,
and for me I was never brought up like in any way culturally tied, like or even like religiously, like I there's no ties. Like wherever I live is wherever I live. Do you feel like a strong connection to the Netherlands? Like will you stay there for a long time? I mean, it's like
I don't.
weird
I don't think it's a very. Western thing, maybe, to have very strong ties to your country. At least I don't feel so particularly. Of
Mm.
course, I'm happy to be representing the Dutch team and all and stuff, but I wouldn't say I have particularly strong ties. I'm actually living in Belgium right now as well, which is
Mm.
basically more or less the same in my eyes. So, I mean, most European countries, they're pretty very similar in a lot of ways. So I like to travel around and see other things, but I mean, no particularly strong feelings of to my country. I guess, I mean, just happy to be a Dutchman, but nothing much more.
I got you. Um, you brought up your all your siblings. So what I told you before we went live was I had read somewhere that there were 6 kids, but I only knew of 3 because I only thought about 3 like as chess players because it would be weird if I knew anybody in your family that
Yeah,
wasn't in the chess world. That would just be strange. So uh, obviously there's you, there's your brother Lucas, who's like I think high 2500, and then
yeah.
there's Machthild, right? That's how you say it.
I think
Um,
both of them are playing in a tournament in Spain right now, so they are like on the chess side of the family. They play a lot of chess tournaments. Although my brother Lucas, he's a bit all over the place, so I'm never really sure what he's up to. Like, for a while he was into arm wrestling, which he still is. Poker, of course, is a typical chess player thing to be interested in, which he's also very much into. But then he also started a hedge fund with a friend. But anyway, he's mostly a chess player, I think.
does that
um
mean that the hedge fund wasn't that successful? Because I feel like if it was, you
I
would.
think it's still ongoing. So
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's a bit complicated. I don't really know the details because they. But anyway, they're running this hedge fund. So I think he's like on the commercial side of things. He's looking for investors, and
Got
then I
it.
got a buddy who's on the tech side of stuff. Anyway, so they are doing that. Um, but first and foremost, he's of course a chess player. Still, and then my younger sister, who you mentioned, she's also playing a lot of chess. But then I got 3 more brothers, and they don't really play that much chess, so they know the rules, but they have basically gotten interested into other kind of stuff. The other day I noticed that one of my brothers, who's now 19 years old, has a TikTok, and it's a really messed up channel. So I'm not really sure what what he's up to there, but yeah, definitely not too much into chess there.
Wow, that's such a that I what messed up as in like not funny
Uh,
or messed up
yeah,
as in...
no, I mean, you got to check it out. I mean, it's not like disgusting to watch, but it is a little bit. So he's basically calling himself like the Chuck Master of the Netherlands, which means he claims he can like empty like a drink very quickly. Yeah. So, but he drinks all kind of weird stuff. So it makes
Oh.
zero sense. Um,
I've seen that, yeah, yeah, and I've seen clips of this. It's like they coach you how to do it. It's like it comes down to like how you control your throat. I'm just like, dude, I'm good. Like I don't.
yeah. Don't I mean you don't want to you don't want to check it out, I guess. But somehow I stumbled across it, so that's what he's up to, I guess. As well as I guess he's in school. Then I got another brother, Tristan, who is well, they're both just in school and basically living like a regular young uh, adolescent life. Yeah, just hanging out with their friends and chilling. Making some money on the side and hustling a bit here and there. I think he's delivering pizzas for Domino's. So there you go.
Oh wow,
And that's
jeez.
I'm speaking of my 16-year-old brother now. And then I got another one who's 14. He likes chess a lot, but he is maybe a bit overshadowed by his twin sister Machteld. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. My younger brother is 14. I was telling a story yesterday
Wow.
on stream. Yeah, he was into chess a little bit, but he never had a strong like obsession with it like I did when I was younger. And he Yeah, he's sort of all over the place. He's still trying to figure things out. Like he's doing a camp this upcoming summer for marine biology. Like
He's 14, you said, right? So
yeah,
he's quite a bit younger than you are
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Like 11 and a half years.
Hmm.
But he's taller than me now, which is the trend in America right now. Like all of our teenagers are now bigger than all of the 20-year-olds. I mean, in the Netherlands, you're all huge. So this
Oh,
is,
but actually, my sibling who's 19 is also like he's overtaken me a lot. I don't think the other two have, but is is there any reason for that, or is just coincidence? You think?
uh, I don't know.
Very odd.
We always joke that there's new growth hormones in the food. Everything
Hmm.
is more processed now. So I have no clue.
Ah,
I mean, I'm sure there's a reason. But yeah, I used to teach in a school that was kindergarten. I don't know what that's in Dutch, but
yeah.
like 4 and 5 year olds up until the last grade, so 18. And I was teaching the younger kids, like 7, 8 year olds, and I would have to walk to the cafeteria to pick them up. And I was walking through the high school wing, and
Hmm.
the people looked like my parents. I mean,
Oh,
people who are like 16, 17 literally look like they could be my mom and dad. It was terrifying. I was just like, I don't know what they're feeding you people, but um,
too
so
much fast food, or
no, I don't know. It's like I said. I mean, yeah, I'm sure someone in the comment section of this podcast is going to write like a whole explanation for us because I don't know what it is, but it's
and
pretty.
there's no way it's the other way around. That are you like, what's your length?
I'm
Or-
that could have been phrased better. But five height. What's my height?
uh,
5'9". So
uh,
5'9" in meters.
okay. Oh, so okay, yeah, you're very average. Yeah, sure.
Yep,
I just
175.
I just had to Google it because I'm not too familiar with the with so like let me one
175 in meters.
yeah, yeah, so all the kids which are in their teenage years are like 1 meter 90 centimeters. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. Or two,
like that.
or or
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
or 2 meters.
okay,
Um,
they can all be future NBA players, who knows.
That's what I was gonna say about my younger brother. We were at my grandparents' house like a week ago, and he said, "Hey, you want to play some basketball?" And he
Hmm.
said, "I bet I could beat you and Lucy 2-on-1." And I'm like, "That's so disrespectful." Like, and then he just destroyed me. Like he's
Well,
so small, like skinny,
mhm.
but he's just bones and he elbows and he gets. I'm like,
Damn.
um,
Are you into basketball at all? Or,
I used to be, but I like tennis recently. I'm not athletic. It's why I'm a streamer and a chess player. Are
mhm.
you? You play sports?
No, I'm very I'm not too good at sports. Actually, just coming back to Magnus, like during the camps,
Mm.
he's very much into sports, as you may know. So I would say that he's very interesting, since like most people they like top players, they work with the engines, while Magnus, he really seems to focus on keeping the head clear. So he likes to look at the board without any computers and just like thinking himself. And I think part of his schedule is doing sports. So I think I only saw him pulling up with the laptop at the training session once, and that was not to look at chess, but that was to fill in the NBA draft for the fantasy league. And he just said, or whatever, I don't exactly know what he was doing, but something with the NBA draft, and he was just sitting there for 3 hours. So that was pretty funny. And Gustafsson is a big football fanatic as well.
Yeah.
So no, I was forced to play some sports with the guys there. We played some paddle, some football, but mainly I was very good at making Magnus upset by my poor play. So that was funny.
In sports?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was like, use your body, like I was playing this paddle and just couldn't, like, became a bit of a running joke. But he's very competitive, even when we're just playing like paddle. And I'm also exceptionally bad, which definitely has. So there's a good reason for him being upset with my play, but it was funny nonetheless.
I just realized you're wearing a Levi's hoodie. Was that on purpose?
No, not at all. It's
Oh, I
just
thought it was like a
just for.
dedication to my name or so. I thought you were showing up to like make fun of like Levi. I was like, is this guy genius? Well, people who are just watching on audio can't see that, but that's why We have a video for YouTube. I was like, man, this
Actually,
is
really
like,
good. But okay, you must have encountered that joke like millions of times. Yeah.
yeah, of course. No, yeah, growing up. Well, there's also a song in America that is like it's called I don't know the name. I think it's called a Miss America or Miss American
Hmm.
Pie, and there's a line in it like drove my Chevy to the levee. So I had to deal with that growing up, and I also had to deal with Levi's. Yeah, and I also had to deal with in English, Levy is a last name. So my name is a last name, and it's pronounced Levy. I don't know why.
Levy.
So
How
yeah,
do you how do you spell it? Levy?
it's the
Like
same.
Ali? Okay.
Levy. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but
Like also the American Pie movies, I think they were maybe just coming out when you were like in school or not.
yes, but the song and the movies are not related. The
Ah,
the song
oh.
is like a good tune, and the movies are just like a giant porno,
Uh-huh.
basically. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used
um,
to watch them when I was like 13, 14. So,
yep, me too. I
well,
watched them with my parents. It was one
oh,
of those moments where you're like, "Oh my god."
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you didn't know what was coming, I guess.
No, I was sort of learning. Yeah, you go through
Hmm.
these phases where you learn this stuff in life. Um, yeah, that's a
No, I
very
think I had the fortune to watch it with a friend of mine who was very much into it. So we watched them a couple of times, maybe. Yeah.
there's a
I don't
lot, and there's a modern version as
know.
well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to ask you a question.
Okay.
So it's a good question, I think, because there's been a lot of like banter and nonsense about chess boxing. So obviously, now that the chess world is growing, there's all these questions of can this grandmaster beat this grandmaster in a fight?
Okay.
Um,
You were hosting something, right? I recall now a tweet now that you had some plans at least to
yeah,
do
so
something.
yeah, I think that if we hosted like a pay-per-view, the way that
Hmm.
Jake Paul is doing it, not a
Hmm.
professional boxer or whatever, we could do chess boxing or just boxing. And we got like I mean, of course the headline has to be Magnus Hikaru. Like you can't not have that. Um I would do it. I don't know, again, everyone's
Yeah,
trying
for
to.
sure. I'm just thinking who's gonna be the favorite. Yeah, like
Well, that's what
the
I was
book.
going to ask you. You've been around Magnus, probably with, if you guys were swimming or something, he had his shirt off. Otherwise, I don't know
Oh
why you
yeah.
would. So is he in, like, everybody says he's in really good shape. Is he in really, really good shape?
Uh I I I mean, really, really good. What is really, really good?
I
He's
don't know.
definitely
I don't.
really good shape,
Is
but
he
he was
jacked?
claiming
Is he like
he was
six pack or.
no, not I mean, I haven't been paying super close attention to his.
To his body? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not like I'm zooming in, like he's getting out of like swimming in the sea, getting onto the beach, and I'm looking there. But I guess he was claiming he's not in the best of shape, but I think he probably worked on it before the match, like at home.
Mhm.
But he's definitely very, very, like I was saying, he's very much into doing physical activities. But I don't think he goes like to the gym really, like to lift weights and all that kind of stuff. At least not to my knowledge.
Mm.
Um, but he should be favored over Hikaru. I would in the boxing. I mean, in the chess also, I guess, in general. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I obviously he is the favorite, but yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's always like, oh, Magnus would destroy anybody in chess boxing. I'm like, what is your proof of this? Like, I'm sure he's a fit guy, but it's not
I
like
don't
he's.
think he shouldn't beat everyone in chess boxing. There must be some pretty good boxers out there in the chess world.
Do you know
With it,
Eric Braun from Germany?
Eric LeBron,
No, 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 no. Braun, like Braun.
Brown. No, no, no. I don't know. But
I think he chess boxes, and I think he's like a huge guy. So
okay. No, but the problem is like once you get to the boxing, I don't know how it exactly goes, but once you get to the boxing part and you get completely like punched around, beaten up, I mean, how are you gonna play chess after that, right? So
yeah.
if Magnus meets his match in the boxing and he just gets completely crushed there, I mean, he's probably not gonna do too well the chess anymore, right?
Yeah, so I think the way you win is you either win by knockout,
Hmm.
or you checkmate, obviously, or there's a clock, so you have like segments. You like box for a minute, you play chess for some time, like something like this. So obviously, if
Hmm.
you're losing on the board, you just go for the knockout, or
Hmm.
You try to cover up and checkmate the guy or like run out his clock.
I think
So
I saw a couple of YouTube videos like a long time ago. It was very entertaining to watch. So I mean, if you can pull it off somehow, I wouldn't take part myself, but I would definitely pay a bit to watch. Yeah. So, and I think there should be a market for it. It sounds like extremely entertaining. So I think the main problem is getting the people to participate. Yeah. I mean, I don't,
it's gonna be a lot of hurdles. First of all,
yeah.
you got to pay the people to participate. You also need someone to sanction this. I'm not really sure this is such like a officially recognized activity, like a bunch of chess players beating the crap out of each other.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm sure you can make something work. I'm thinking actually now Magnus against his coach Peter Heinen, that could be quite a close match as well. Like
isn't Peter
he-
enormous?
yeah, exactly. So
Oh, I
and
see.
he's got some chess moves as well, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Like that could be quite a matchup.
Well, that's in the works, but unfortunately, it's too much. I'm gonna have to reach out to the team. I'm gonna have to all these teams, and I'm an international master, and I'm also like not I'm not a very I don't get as much respect potentially as a guy like an Eric Rosen or another other international masters. So I'm missing on a few fronts to gather like the necessary respect. So what I need to do is I need to hire an agent who will then reach out. When you put the barrier there, it's like a little different. Then we can have official discussions and but
Yeah, yeah, that's what I learned as well. Always have a middleman to I don't know, someone to speak on your behalf. But um, I guess you got your share of respect in the chess world. I mean, you've accomplished quite a number of things yourself, right? So,
it's
um,
it's it's different. It's a classical chess is still like the
mhm,
it's the
mhm.
most respectful thing. But you just said uh you learn to do you have like an agent or something? I mean, I'm assuming all chess players just do things by themselves, right? Like
Well, I have someone who helps me with some stuff. I wouldn't say he's my agent, but he's definitely my advisor, so I can ask him anytime, and he has a lot of connections in the chess world. So but it's only since recently. I mainly My parents helped me a lot growing up, and they still do actually, of course. And then I try to do things myself, but I'm very unorganized. This is my biggest problem. So
unless
I
it's opening files.
also I'm this
Okay.
is actually a running meme I have when I was working or when I'm working with Anish. Like he's like, "Can you send me the stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but dude, I don't have it anymore. I mean, it's like somewhere lost in my computer." So, but I think it sort of goes hand in hand. So I never managed to save anything, but it also keeps the creativity going in a way. So if you never like if you have everything very like nicely lined up, stocked up, like I mean, like I have like 25 files on the night or blah 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 blah. Like you will before you start analyzing anything, you will go through your files, like saying what, like checking what did I say here, and then like it looks kind of good. Well, if you have nothing saved up, you'll always look at a new board, look with a new kind of set of eyes, and you're always somehow looking at it in a new way. So that's kind of me. Of course, I do have some kind of things saved up, but generally, it's definitely my biggest weakness that I lose everything and unorganized. So the other day I got a new phone, and usually I get very cheap phones because I know I lose them. So this time I got some kind of iPhone, and my girlfriend was very upset with me because she said, "You'll lose it in no time, and it's just a waste of money." So I'm just hoping. It's kind of a challenge, to keep this phone. It's like I have to prove that I can take care of my stuff.
I I just buy the cheapest and smallest iPhone. So I have like it's called the SE. It's not like the iPhone 13. I never understood the point of buying basically just like a professional camera. Like that's the biggest selling point of all new iPhones. It's
Hmm.
like with the four cameras in the back. I'm like, I just need one. I don't know why you have four cameras on the back of your phone. I just have one, and
It works, but the problem is for me with these their battery drains really quickly. Like other than
Yeah.
that, they're fine.
Yeah. And I'm when I'm not doing anything all day, I use the phone way too much. And like sometimes I'm sitting there 30 minutes into scrolling some random articles. I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, I don't care about anything I'm reading. And then yeah, by then the battery is drained and I have to recharge it. So yeah. That's what they do though. They
But in that,
sabotage the batteries.
yeah, they kind of they do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I saw that. So, I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, I mean the scrolling part, I can relate. I do it all the time as well, especially when I just wake up. Like I'm laying in bed a little bit more, checking some stupid stuff and some tweets, and before you know it, half an hour has gone by, and my battery is still fully charged, so I keep on scrolling.
Yeah, wow,
So,
that sounds familiar.
but
Uh
you got the advantage that at least your battery is dead by then, so you have to get up.
it's not always that it's no, I mean the thing is your brain is like 70 and 100% is the same thing. It's like plenty of charge. But then once you start losing beyond that and it's like, oh my god, 30%, and you see the thing like go like here, a little
Mm-hmm.
bar, and you're like, oh no, my phone's gonna die pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, it's good to know that even successful folks wake up in the morning and kill time on their phone before they start their
But
day every
I
day.
thought I think you are actually an example of someone who has who somehow you seem very disciplined, and I don't know how to put it into words in English, but you seem uh, you seem to get your things done, and you seem to have to like. I mean, I follow your tweets. You go to the gym for a while. You work on your food diet and stuff, and you seem very dedicated to getting the best version of yourself. Let's say. Well, I would say I'm a much less much less
Uh,
so. So
it's for me. I'm yes, but then again, I came back from a tournament in October and I got sick.
mhm.
Like not, it wasn't COVID. I mean, it might have been, but I tested negative. But I mean, I was just really tired for like 3 weeks,
Mhm.
and since then I haven't gone to the gym a single time. So, and I've had like no desire to even step outside. It could be because it's just really cold. I don't know what I don't know what the climate is like in the Netherlands, but
Old.
cold. Okay, yeah. I personally think that if I lived in like a warm,
Mhm.
in a warm place, then it would be good. But I think for me, it takes like some realizations in life. Like I know I'm doing something bad, or I know I'm not fulfilling something like the best that I can. But it just I'm like yeah whatever. And then
Mhm.
one day I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop doing it that way. And then I fail, and then I still keep doing it that way. And then the 3 or 4 times later, I'm like, okay, that's it. So,
Mhm.
but it also helps that like Lucy and I will do something together. Like we'll play tennis on Fridays, or we'll stop eating meat. So we don't really do things so separately.
Mhm.
I
I guess
guess
it's very very good to encourage each other, because when you do things alone, it's easy to like you said,
yeah.
like you hit one obstacle, and then you go back to your old bad habits, which is also my problem. Like I'm very excited to do something good for a while, and then I hit one obstacle and I'm going back to the same old habit. So I guess doing something with your partner, or something like that, definitely has a lot of benefits.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it also helps that this might not sound great, but it also helps if you and your partner are like pretty similar in the way that you're both like, for example, either motivated or lazy as shit. So it's really bad if like one of you is on a completely different side of
Mhm.
the things than the other. So um, I think
Mhm.
the major
I once
difference. Yeah.
I once read that it's also I mean I don't read a lot, but I once read that it's sometimes interesting, that can be interesting to have a partner who is very much different than you, because then you get a view of a whole different of someone seeing the world in a whole different way, let's say, and then like that you can learn from each other. Well, if you're both the same, that may not necessarily be the case, but I don't know if that's true. That's just
That's what they
something
say. That's what
I
they
read.
say.
Yeah,
But I think even in being different in like a good amount of ways, you can also find some
similarities, I
yeah,
guess.
some similarities. Like maybe you're different in terms of waking up and falling asleep. Like Lucy sleeps probably 40% longer than me. Uh, I used to, at least. She used to fall asleep like an hour earlier. Now we kind of fall
Mhm.
asleep at the same time. But she used to fall asleep an hour, 2 hours earlier than me, and sleep 1 to 2 hours later. So
Mhm.
the math, it just adds up over time. How much more she's like sleeping, and I mean,
Yeah.
actually, probably doing good for herself, and I'm sleeping like 6 hours. But we're pretty similar, I guess, in kind of more important things, which yeah, I mean, everybody discovers differently with their partner. So like I don't know, in your relationship, if one day Sophie was like, okay, we're going vegan, and you're like, what? I don't want to. You know, it's like it's not.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. No, in that sense, I understand what you're saying. In many ways, it helps to be to think the same and to have. I mean, like going vegan is definitely, it can be very positive thing. So if you're both interested in that, I think it's only positive. Let's say.
Yeah, and then for us, one day one of us is like, I want a hamburger, and then we just like make fun of each other. I mean, that also helps. Every all I've
Mhm.
learned the last like 2 years, with all this, growth and everything, and yeah, it I'm the kind of person who probably would would become like more, I guess, like mature, organized, and I guess the best version of myself in a relationship, because I think by myself I would just be, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen photos of like XQC's room. But it's, it's bad, and he has 100,000 viewers every stream, and he has a
Uh,
wall
but
of
he always
trash.
streams in the dark, right?
It doesn't, like, dark light, it doesn't matter. It's like you see my camera here, like to the left, he has a stack 6 feet tall of like garbage, so it's
Oh.
he's a good dude, but sacrifices must be made to have 100,000 viewers
Mhm,
16
mhm,
hours a day. So
mhm, mhm.
um
Yeah, I watched his streams for a little bit at some point. They're very interesting, but I mean, he is definitely some kind of I don't know, beast. Like stream 16 hours a day every day. I don't know how he does it, but
yeah, I don't know either. I've never even studied chess probably longer than 6 hours in a day. What was your longest chess day?
I don't know. Cannot recall anything, but there must be days where I just did chess all day, I guess. But I never count my hours. So I usually said in interviews that I try to study chess on average 6 hours a day. But I mean, I never have like a clear plan in mind. Like I'm now gonna do 2 hours openings, then 2 hours end games, then 2 hours middle games, and then
Yeah.
2 hours I'm gonna solve tactics, and then I'm gonna go for a run. Blah blah blah. I I'm very once again, I'm very unorganized. Um, but I think somehow most chess players are, and I don't know if it's necessarily good quality to have. But I have to feel like most chess players, they just do something which they feel like doing in the moment. So they feel like, okay, now I'm gonna play 2 hours of Blitz. Let's go. Now I'm gonna go party for all night. I don't know. But whereas in other sports, it's definitely way different. Like football, when a soccer player goes or an NBA player goes, they have to do training at this and this time. They have to do they have their diet set up and all that kind of stuff. Well, chess players, we just do whatever we like. But I don't know. I kind of like I like the profession. You're your own boss. You decide your own things, and you're responsible for your own actions. But I like it like this.
Some of the stuff I was going to ask you actually was about that. And I guess I didn't know whether to start like from when you were 2600 up to now, or like work backwards. So you recently, you this year, right? You earlier this year you crossed 2700.
Yeah.
Um and so what is that world like? And what I mean by that is uh the top 2700 level, it seems like a bit of a bubble. It's like the opposite of tennis. Like even though you might be the best in the world, you still have to go through the opens, and you still have to get all the way to the final, knocking out people you might have never heard of before. But all the top like 20 guys, they seem to be, at least before COVID, they were all invited to the same things, and that's where the prize money was, and that's how they made their careers.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily there yet, but definitely, or only have been for a very brief moment of time. So I did get some invitations to play with the very best. But for now, I just see it as great fun and a great opportunity to learn from all these guys. Like, I mean, this year I played a lot of these online tournaments, but I also got an invitation to play in Zagreb, to play with Kasparov, for example, which was definitely crazy. So for now, it's only very very fun, and I definitely like it. Whereas when I was maybe 2600 or before I won Vaikanze, I was definitely also playing a lot of open tournaments, but I like that actually a lot as well. You know, in the open tournaments, you're not in the picture that much, and I used to go with friends, but I would say I was a little bit less professional at the time. So now I really try to pick my tournaments wisely, and there's maybe less time for fun, and I try to be as professional as I can at tournaments. While before going to an open tournament with friends, we might have too much fun at a tournament. So I don't know how it will be in the future years. I mean, I guess for me the main thing is just to try to keep improving, and try to keep playing with the best players and learn from them, and try to get to their level, I guess, because I'm certainly not there yet.
When you were 2600, actually, to your point, we ran into each other in an open tournament in the Czech Republic, in Pardubice.
Actually, that's, I think. Oh no, wait. I met my girlfriend in Pardubice, but I can't recall which year were you there.
2019.
Yeah, that's where I met my girlfriend. Yeah.
For the first time?
Well, I kind of got to know her there. Like the first time I kind of talked to her, like it was a year before that, but then I didn't know. Like I really got to be with her like there. So I mean, that's where we, got together.
That's amazing. That's the best thing that happened in Pardubice in 2019. The second best thing that happened was me getting a stomach virus, losing 15 pounds, and having to go back to the United States.
You told me about that, yeah.
On stream.
That's so bad.
Yeah, it was. Do you remember Kebab House in the plaza? That's where I got it.
Is that like the big mall, or is it?
No. So if the playing hall, you like have this big long road.
Yeah.
And then you turn left, and there's this long walkway. So right in the middle of that plaza, there was a little kebab house. It's called Kebab House. And
I think I avoided it because I didn't have to go back home. But I mean, yeah, your comeback actually only came like 2 years later, right? I mean, you played a lot of tournaments this year, but I don't think you played anything in between, is what you told me. So it was quite an adventure at the kebab.
No, that was it was terrible. I mean, Pardubice was not where I wanted to go if I was going to go to Europe. So we planned a 3-week trip with my friend. We were going to go to all over Europe, and I got to go nowhere. But such is life, unfortunately. Europe was fascinating. Those open tournaments, they're much better conditions than the United States. Maybe you don't think so, but like I can tell you, one game a day, DGTs, like 90% of tournaments in the United States don't have a broadcast.
I cannot relate because I never played I only played in St. Louis once, but it was not an open tournament. So
yeah, well, St. Louis is very nice. There's definitely much better conditions there, but in Pardubice, like for instance, it was a shock to me that I was sleeping on a twin-size bed with one pillow. I've never seen a bed with one pillow. Were you in the hotel? Were you in that hotel, or did you get like better conditions?
I was in the. I mean, Pardubice does not have good hotels. Like, by day, the room was just boiling hot, I think, But I mean, I was not sleeping a lot that tournament. That tournament. I mean, it was basically with Sophie spending some time, and then like in the middle and somewhere in the morning trying to get a few hours of sleep. So I don't think I particularly checked out the pillow situation, but
Is that
uh,
is that I was gonna ask you a serious question about that tournament, but now that what you're describing is it kind of makes sense. I remember you lost the first round or something.
yeah,
Uh,
that's actually why I went to see my. I gave up on the tournament after the first round.
I was going to ask you like how do you bounce back from defeat? You're just like, I don't know, dude. I met my future
Yeah,
partner, so it doesn't matter.
that was a
Um,
very weird tournament for both of us, I guess. So in a way, it shaped both of us. You had to go back to Europe, and your Europe tournaments got cancelled, and yeah, you became a streamer, YouTuber, and all that. And
I
I'm now
know.
with my girlfriend, so
Who knows? I could have like gotten a GM norm there. You could have not met Sophie, and now we're in two totally different timelines where
exactly.
we don't even have this conversation. It's scary.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So I mean, Party Beach is a special place. So I don't know if but I like the place actually. So I never ran into the kebab place, and I mean the hotel room was definitely no good, but I was there with my friends.
Were
And
you were you with Jose? Is that who you were with?
no, he was there I think, but I was there with a couple of Dutch guys. I think Max Warmerdam was maybe there. So he's a Dutch player as well,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then another Dutch player who is you probably haven't heard of him, but we were there having a good time. And I think it's maybe the last one of the last open tournaments I played. I cannot recall. I mean, shortly after that, of course, COVID happened, like beginning of 2020, so long time ago already. But yeah, maybe the last open tournament I played. So could be.
I- Is it possible to like I'm sure the answer to the question is yes, but really the answer sorry, the question is like, is it possible to make a good successful career just as a professional chess player around 2700 2690, or do you need to start making courses, or do you need to because I guess you can go win the opens, but is there really enough, or is it like, what is the pay jump once you go from 2695 to
Mhm.
2770?
Yeah,
It's much higher because you're guaranteed money also.
it depends on a couple of things. Well, because when you're 2700 low, you're definitely not going to get invited to the elite tournaments yet, or most people not. But somehow I got a couple of opportunities this year, which was very nice. And I would say that I think generally as a 2700 player, you can make a decent living as a professional chess player without making courses, and just by picking your tournaments well. Um, but tournament organizer, I mean, they usually have some, like in Vijk and Zee, they always look for a young, talented players, maybe with an interesting style. So in a way, it sometimes also matters, like the way you play games. Like going back to, for example, Mr. Dubov, he plays very enterprising chess, and he's definitely a fan favorite in a lot of the tournaments. So he gets a lot of invitations. So when you're just below the top, maybe that's what you got to try to be doing. Um, but I think in general, like once you hit 2700, even without all the super tournament invitations, there are a lot of leagues, and still definitely like sub top tournaments, which are like very decent financially wise. And it's also not like actually like you cannot make courses and stuff. So like even Anish, for example, makes a lot of courses for websites, and so you can combine that as well.
Yeah, it seems like with 2020, 2021, I mean, courses are really the way to go, especially if you have the patience to sit in front of like the screen. Because recording courses is so different than even like videos or streaming. I mean, you're
Yeah,
so serious, and it's a totally different like
I,
mindset.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna make one at some point, so I'm very curious as to the process. I know you have made a couple courses of your own, of course. So, but I heard from many people that it's a lot of work and definitely different. At the same time, most of us are sitting at home right now, still. Like in Netherlands, there's now been a new lockdown, so not too many tournaments coming up potentially after Vikensee for me. So I'll be doing that kind of stuff. Um, but also I have to say that like I mean due to COVID, I mean there have been a lot more online tournaments as well, so it could be that at some point there's going to be an overflow of tournaments like classical and online, and would only be good. So then when there's so many tournaments, no doubt they will have to invite some players below the absolute top 10 top 20 as well. So I think I'll be doing okay.
Have you had any Dutch esports teams reach out to you?
Don't you have to be a streamer to do that, or
Not necessarily. No, you might make a good point, I guess.
isn't
Yeah.
isn't Team Liquid Dutch? This is like the one of the few.
Yes, 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 yes. They
big
are.
in
They are. They are. They don't have a chess. I don't think they've ever signed a chess person. I'm sure. I'm sure they had talks with like
Mhm.
Hikaru and
Are you, by the way, signed to an
no, no, no.
No. Ah,
I
you're one of the few, yeah.
I am one of the few. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
tough because when you sign, so esports orgs, you might completely not care about this, and I apologize. I'm just going to say this for the listener, basically. But when you sign, like you sign your life away to these people, so they pay you per month. But any ads you get after that, like any company, if it's in a category that you've signed away, you can't like do it. So you only represent the sponsors of the esports organization. So if they're sponsored by some sort of keyboard company, electronics company, you cannot take the sponsorship anymore. So
Mhm.
that gets kind of accounted for with your per month pay. So if you were a streamer, they would ask you, hey, we need you to be live 100 hours a month so that we can play ads of our major sponsors through your channel. And
Mhm.
we will pay you per month. So it's like one of those things. It's pretty rare. And I would imagine that for any chess player, it's extremely hard to find sponsors. Like I don't know. I'm have you done this process, like trying to find someone to put a logo on your suit, for example? Like, is
I
that?
I yeah. So I stopped Twitch streaming like a long time ago, but I have two regular sponsors who are definitely helping me financially, and very grateful to them. One of them actually I acquired very recently, just before the Grand Swiss, so like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lawyer firm based in Netherlands, so they'll be definitely helping me out for trainings, traveling, all that kind of stuff, which brings in expenses. So but yeah, of course, generally there are not too many sponsors in the chess world, although I think it's changing a little bit. I see more and more players walking around with a little logo on their shirt or jacket, so only for the better, I guess. Like so I think it's going okay, yeah, but no esport teams for me anytime soon, I guess. So um
It's tough because you don't. Yeah. I guess you're not streaming. It's a fair point. And even I've always wondered with stuff like that. Like, okay, you said there's like a law firm, that's sponsoring you. I mean, it must be difficult for these companies to sponsor people when the return is it's so like
mhm,
who in the Grand Swiss is gonna read. I'm not trying to undermine your sponsor by any
mhm,
means. I'm just it's like oh well, the next time I need a lawyer, I'm gonna
mhm.
call them. Even the sponsors on like Magnus or Jan during the World Championship. I'm looking at the stuff like what is that? And I looked it up. I looked up Jan's sponsor,
Mhm,
Simaland. It's like a
mhm.
major retailer or something.
Wasn't Jan sponsored by chess.com actually? Or
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I,
yeah,
I, I suppose they,
yeah.
they partnered
Well,
with him.
and yeah. So usually, well, in all of tournaments, like you have sponsors are not by companies themselves, but usually by wealthy individuals who are interested in the game of chess, like
Hmm.
Mr. Sinkfield, for example. In the Netherlands, we had Van Oosterom like a decade ago. I never knew him, but he was very wealthy as well. So that's a common site as well. But for example, in my case, the sponsors they're definitely very interested into chess, and when I do wear their logo during, for example, Vikings that is still it might get some it might get some attention for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, especially in Tata Steel, it must be pretty nice to be the like kind of the real first Dutch super GM, and you must get some sort of perks. I mean, Anish is Dutch, but only by settlement, not you know. So I hope it comes with some sort of perks. I was gonna ask you a question. I forgot about this. A long time ago, I was streaming, and a person in my chat was I think I must have asked you this like when we did the commentary, but I don't remember if I did. A person was in my chat and was just insulting me, but okay, it's nothing new. But their username was your name.
No, that cannot have been me.
So I always knew it wasn't you, but I mean, I was like, maybe he was drunk one day and just, I don't know, but
I don't know when I might have been drunk, but from people say I'm very opposed to being violent and stuff when I'm drunk, so I usually turn into a
nice guy. You're nice.
A nice guy, yeah. So if it was me, it was me when I was sober, probably, when I'm way less nice. But then I would probably remember, and I would definitely. I mean, did it have my actual Twitch username? I mean, it could have been one of my. I have honestly no idea.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If it was you, that was very not nice what you said. You said some very mean things, and I hope you regret it. But I don't think it was you, because I knew you had a channel, and yeah, this has only ever happened 2 times. So that time it wasn't like Jorden, but it was it was like all of your initials. It was like JV, and then I think it was like Foreest at the end or something, something like that. And I was like, "There's no way that's actually Jorden."
No, I only have. Okay, I have 2 Twitch channels. One I use for private private streams, which only my friends can watch, and it's definitely not with any of my initials in there.
It's good.
That's the one channel which is still active, and the other one is just I think it's like GM Jorden van Foreest or something, and that's about it. So yeah, I'm sorry if I said anything too mean. I hope we can still be friends.
It's okay. It's okay. This happened recently, actually, and this is what prompted this, because I knew we were going to talk. This was no. I'm not saying this incident, but a second incident happened recently where a guy was in my chat and he had a username, and he was insulting me. But then he said, "I'm this guy from Norway," and he linked the chess.com profile, and he had the same name. It was the exact same name. It was a real titled player from Norway, and he was like saying he was gonna beat me up at a tournament. I was like, "What did I do to this? I don't even know who this. I don't know who this is." In the words of Conor McGregor, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
You should invite this guy to your chess boxing tournaments.
Yeah, he looked pretty strong from his profile photo, dude. I do not want any beef with no Scandinavian dudes.
Okay.
Well,
put him up against Eric Brown, right?
Yes, or Eric Hansen. Just
Eric should be very good in chess boxing.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He might be interested in such kind of thing, but yeah, I mean, I've noticed that chess players, they can be not so nice at times. Yeah, like they like to. I mean, how often have you had in chat when someone is cursing at you for flagging them and wishing you the death sentence, basically?
You mean during the games?
Or just after the games in the chat? I mean, I've had it occurred to me several times. So some people are like to curse a bit in chat and say some mean stuff.
You've had actual like verified titled players like say shit to you?
Yes.
Oh, that's really funny.
But
wow. With like their real name in their profile, or just the title, and then like if it's an anonymous title player?
Oh no, for sure with the real name in the profile, but I don't think it has happened anytime recently, but definitely sometimes
Wow,
people do.
that's amazing. I've had it happen on anonymous title players. Like they have the title and then they just say
Hmm.
something, and I'm like, what is this? But I've also, yeah, I've had it both ways. And then I'm like, dude, what is the point of having a public profile and behaving like this? Like, at least do it on an anonymous, you know. At
Yeah.
least that way.
Oh, maybe some chess. You don't have to be too clever to be a good chess player after all. Yeah. So you can. But yeah, I don't know. Um, fortunately, most people are nice guys, so it doesn't happen too often.
Yeah. Speaking of, I this goes a little bit back to some of the you mentioned some of the players in that you were with in Pardubice, like Max. C- Correct me if I'm wrong, but like 3-4 years ago, the up and coming like Dutch players they weren't anywhere near like on the map as you guys are now. I mean, it seems like you all came out of like you all sort of came up together. So
Yeah.
how did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. There has indeed been a bit of a momentum in the Dutch chess scene. Not only with the boys, but we have a couple of very strong girls as well just coming up right now. So it's looking very good. I don't know how it happened, but I would definitely attribute a lot of it to all the boys basically discussing and working on chess together, which I think is very beneficial. So like with Max, I talk a lot, but we have I think actually you played Robbie recently in a tournament, who has been a long time friend of mine, who's also become a GM recently. So he has pursued studying, but we have a lot of well up and coming kids of who we talk chess with. So that could be the reason. Also, maybe we just have a lot more kids suddenly interested into chess, which would be nice. But at the same time, for now, it doesn't look like any of them are really gonna turn pro. So, for example, Max, who is definitely probably most outstanding of all the kids, he is just studying in the Netherlands, doing his I think he's studying economics. So in Netherlands, it's very common for strong chess players. We had Benjamin Bok, for example, Robin van Kampen, for them to finally give up chess and basically pursue a normal career like studying or
Yeah, is Robin still Dutch, like
uh,
Federation?
I don't- I think he's Dutch, but he has definitely not played a chess game in a long time. I think he's currently based either in New York or somewhere in Canada. You have to. I don't speak to him too often, but for example, he was very talented and very good. I think he made top hundreds when he was like 21. So, but just decided that he was more interested in other things.
Yeah, I mean, I was just scrolling the FIDE list, and there's even more than I remembered. But yeah, there's him as well.
Yeah, and then you have some from the older generation who I don't really know, like per se, but you have a lot of grandmasters above 2600, which decided that it's not easy to make a good living when you're like 2600 to 2650, right? So they I think they decided, most of them, to do something else on the side.
Well, Robbie did the pilgrimage. He did the European title player comes to the States and then gets their title and then like gets a degree, and now he's gonna go to norm events and bleed like 5-10 points every few months. And um, he almost came, I think, to the last norm event here in New York.
Mhm,
But that's like the strategy, and I mean it's good. You get a good, you can get an education. You can live in the States,
mhm.
and
Yeah, basically beating up a bit by the young talented kids over there in the US, but he got a scholarship, and I think he's having a very good time actually there. I don't think he's planning on returning anytime soon.
oh, there you go, awesome.
Yeah, that's what I also noticed. Many of the, like Benjamin Bog, or many of the guys who go to study over there in the US, who get a scholarship, they have a lot of scholarships, right, in the US for chess players. So they end up being sucked in there, and they don't return. So there's a lot of Western or just European players who go there and don't come back.
Yeah, we definitely don't have these chess programs at like the grade schools.
Mhm.
But I think they're good enough that if you get a good also practical degree, like something technical, you can
Mhm.
probably put it to work. Like I'm looking at this list, I don't know who is Hugo Ten Hertog. Who is that? He's like a year older than me. Who is that?
He's a grandmaster.
I know I should put some respect on his name, but like, do you all know each other or?
I wouldn't say I'm like close with him or even friends, but I definitely know who he is, and he's a good chess player. But I think he's like one of these people who's very good and very, but then also just decided to go studying. Then while studying, at some point did make his he was always like 2 for 80, maybe 2 for 90, 2 for highs at least, and then while studying, playing a couple tournaments a year, eventually made it to grandmaster as well, but never really pursued chess to try and become professional player or anything like that. So I think many of them realize that it's very hard to make a good living of chess. So um, and also for many of them, once they make gem, the motivation kind of goes away. Yeah, so they don't really want to make the next step.
Yes, I've always said that if it's a very big if I make the GM title, I will never play classical chess again. So God bless you and all the other 2700s who can do
Well,
it so consistently.
in that way, it's nice to keep the process going. Like at least pursue it, and maybe one day you will attain it. Who knows? But um, it's sometimes the process is nicer than the final outcome. So if you'll ever make it, at least you'll have a good time in between playing a lot of chess.
So the next three GMs for the Netherlands, is it?
Casper Schoppen, I guess, is he in the list? Is he? I?
He's
Oh no,
he's
he's
no he's
GM.
he's GM. He's GM. Yeah, Casper got
Oh,
got banned on chess.com. I remember for allegedly
yeah.
cheating in Puzzle Rush, which he didn't cheat at all. Like it was some.
You gotta, yes, yeah. He made some video with my brother where they proved the contrary. But next GMs we got Thomas Beardson, Liam Vrolijk, and then do we have anyone else? I don't know.
Quinten Dukarman? Who is that?
Quentin Ducomber.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, you got the list there, but he's a little bit older as well. So
Yes, there's him and the guy I always play on chess.com, Admiral.
Miguel, yes,
Yes.
but he's very close. I think he might be. Is he GM yet, or he's like 2-5
No,
or
he's
two
the same
four?
rating as Dukarman and the same year.
But he got like 2 GM norms. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, he plays Trumpowski. I like him. I see him in Trumpowski courses and books sometimes. I see his name.
Mm.
And I've always said Liam's name as Vroilik, but I guess that's wrong.
It
Uh,
basically means happy in
yeah,
Dutch.
happy. Yeah, it's
Vrolijk, vrolijk.
yeah.
Yeah, it's happy. So yeah, you got Liam. He's very good, but also he went studying, for example. So they all go studying. So
Well, I mean
but I
it's
think in the US, I mean, in Dutch we got a few talents, but in the US it's really booming. And I mean, you got the youngest GM now, of course. Christopher Yu, I think, made GM. So you're doing quite.
is he the
Quite
youngest
well.
GM in U.S. history? No, no, no. I mean Abimanyu, obviously.
He's the youngest GM in the history of the world. You mean?
Well, Abimanyu is the youngest GM in the history of the world and the U.S. because he's
And the
American.
US,
Yeah,
then
yeah. I mean
yes,
that's
and that
um,
must be, I guess.
yeah. Christopher, you got it like a couple weeks, I guess, before he turned 15. Yeah, I've played him. It's a nightmare playing him.
Mhm.
I mean
Just
it's
how good he is, you mean? Or
yeah, he's good and he's really
yeah.
well prepared.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, he played like a line against me that's never been ever played seriously in any classical game, and it turned out he played it like 3 times in Title Tuesday, and he played 20 moves of Stockfish.
I mean, these days you gotta even check the Tyler Tuesday games. It's
I
it's it's become too much. You mean even as a professional player, you cannot keep track of everything. So I can definitely feel you there. I mean, it's just impossible.
um yeah, well, I honestly I can't recall if I mentioned this when we were talking about you and openings, but I've sometimes gone digging
Mhm.
like in the third, fourth most popular move in some opening positions. And by the time I get to like move 9, 10, there's a game, Jorden van Foreest, young Krzysztof Duda, Jorden van Foreest versus this guy, another guy, Jorden van Foreest. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
dude, how is this guy like everywhere? But you say you throw it all out and then you just rediscover it in the future. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, it's not completely true, but I mean, I have some things saved up, but I mean, I really lose a lot of my opening work, and I sometimes don't even save it actually, like almost on purpose. Like all the stuff I did for example, for Anish for the candidates, I think I probably lost it. So for the match, I tried to be a little
Wow.
bit more organized. So I think I got my stuff got it's well organized there. But in general, especially when I work for myself, when I think like nobody else has to see it, it's just from my own, just like I understand it myself, then I just throw it away, or it's very unorganized, messy notes, and like,
That's
oh, that's
funny.
how I do.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm similar, but I don't want to compare training regimens. I've also
Mhm.
just noticed that I am very good at just like a week later. Sometimes I'll completely forget something I looked at. But if you're like very seriously studying chess, and I've had probably like 1.5 phases like that in my life, it's just a totally different experience. It's in some ways it's kind of nice to just like eat
Mhm.
meals, shower sometimes, and
Yes.
like just think about chess. Like nothing else matters. You have like, you talk to your friends about whatever, but then it's just chess. Like in all your free time, it's kind of nice because you actually you can feel yourself getting like stronger. You find a bunch of things you never thought about. You're like thinking about it all the time. But
Yeah, no, the cool thing about this chess is you learn things like every day, like everyone does. So even someone like Magnus, I think he learns new stuff. So it's a never ending learning curve. But of course, even I sometimes get fed up playing chess every day, and uh, I love chess a lot. But sometimes it's fun to get away and do other stuff, like like most people do, hanging out with friends, going to the movies, whatever.
yeah, I think that's a good note to transition to what's next for you.
Me,
Yeah, that's the final
I'm
question. I always ask everybody like
sure.
what's the future? What do you got?
um so I think, like, chess wise, I'm playing the World Rapid and Blitz in Poland, which, like, I'm terrible at Rapid and Blitz. So I'm going there with zero
Are
expectations,
you
except I wanna
flying there?
increase. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's like, I'm going to Amsterdam to fly, and then it's like 2 hours flight.
Okay.
Well, going by train is possible, but it's like you have to go to Berlin and then to Warsaw. Maybe it's like 15 hours by train. It's a bit much. Um, but it's interesting for me also because, in a weird way, I've never been to Poland before. So looking forward to going there, just to cross that country of my checklist of been there, done that, and looking forward to playing the Rapids and Blitz. And then I'm playing Vaikanze after that, after like well, New Year's celebrations, and well, Christmas I won't be at home, I guess. But yeah, Vaikanze, and then after that I'll take it from there. Nothing much planned, but I'm sure things will pop up, and oh yeah, tonight I'm playing the Gatmeter Arena, maybe.
Yeah, that's in 3 hours at the time of recording. This is gonna get published in probably a week or two or three even, but or maybe I
Okay.
haven't I haven't uploaded a podcast in a while because of the World Championship. Maybe I'll
Mhm.
upload this even sooner, but yeah, I'll probably play it too. So I think chess.com partner streamers are being allowed an exception
Okay.
to
Well, if one of us wins the Bitcoin, we'll have a good party.
yes, I don't think it's going to happen at all. But never say never, and
Yeah.
the prize will definitely fluctuate in value throughout the event.
That's true.
So, but it's good. Yeah, 1 Bitcoin is really not too bad of a
Not too
price.
bad. No, no, no. It's most certainly not.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks. I
Yeah.
I, I, I really appreciate it. I know that an hour and a half with a 2700 can cost like $500, $1,000, you know, for a training. So
And I don't know how much is it to spend time with someone who has million subs on YouTube. Might be a lot more.
I probably have to pay you. I'm still very much, you know, when I've been inviting podcast guests, I'm still in the back of my mind, like, you know, like all these legends. You're a legend as well, but you know, Polgar, or I'm like, do I pay them? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Like Kasparov, is he gonna charge me? I don't know.
I don't think usually people charge for podcasts, so it will be kind of weird. But I'm not.
I don't know. Maybe they do.
But it's really been a pleasure talking to you, and once again, congrats on getting married. And
thank you. And
hope to
spending
talk to
my
you soon.
yeah. We'll talk soon. And I spent my first day as a married man talking to you before I even spoke to my wife. She was just waking up. So
okay. Oh, it's an honor. Okay.
Cool, Jorden. Good luck in the tournament. Thank you.
Thanks, Levi. Bye.
Once again, folks, thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. You know where to find me if you'd like to support my content. And once again, thanks so much for watching both the stuff on my main channel, but also keeping up with the podcast episodes. I'll see you right back here next time with our next guest in Gotham City.